Alright, this is a rear differential of 83, 84. It's got the 3.73 differential, 41 on the ring, 11 on the pinion. This is the seal that came out of there. I drilled some holes in it, put some screws in it, clamped some vice grips, and pried it out. The seal size is an NGK AH2085G. Approximately the ID is 1.377, the OD approximately 2.167, and it's approximately 0.435 thick. This thread is 16 millimeter by 1.5. This is the nut. I knocked this down into this divot here to lock it in place. And what I did is I colored the side of the bolt as I was taking it off, so that's where I'm going to start it, and I'm going to try to line it back up in the exact same spot when I install it. This is the plate that comes out of there. I used just a standard puller, 3-leg puller. There's a washer that goes on top, and then the nut. So I ordered some new seals from Rock Auto, and when you tap the seal in, it's supposed to be below the surface right here, 0.039 maximum. And I want to be real careful about putting that nut back on. I want to get it right back in the same spot as best I can, because I don't have the expertise to go in and adjust all this stuff. I ordered the seals from Rock Auto, 223542 Timken. Come about $4 a piece. I ordered 3. Include the shipping, $4 a piece. It actually has another number on it, AE2081, and it's just a straight line like an I or a lowercase l, so I'm assuming it's an I. I'll have to look that one up. So I'll put that seal in there, and it's supposed to go in so it's recessed below this point about a 32nd of an inch or so, 0.039, a little over 32nd of an inch. I started the seal with my finger so it's barely in there. Just a piece of 1.5 ABS. It's I cut off the end of it, of a fitting. Anyway, it looks like it's going to work perfect for tapping that in. You want to be careful tapping. You got to make sure you tap it evenly all the way around so that one end doesn't get or one side doesn't go in a little further than the other too much. It's pretty hard to pull them back out once you get them in there without wrecking them. Okay, I got the bearing or the seal in there. I ran a thread chaser, 16 millimeter by 1.5. Threads are kind of buggered up. Like say, I greased up the inside of the lip of that seal. Now I want to clean this up and stick it on there. Okay, don't forget to put the washer in there. Like say, I marked that nut, so when it came off of there, it lined up with that notch. So that's where I'm going to start it. To get it back in the same spot. So I used a 7/8 socket and clamped the vice grip on there to hold it, and I used the cheater pipe and got it back to where it needs to be. Just got to knock that down into that groove so it can't come off of there, and it's done. I wished I would have ordered a gasket for this thing. I have to make one, or I'll goop this up with non-hardening gasket maker. I'm assuming the seal is bad because the bottom half of this differential is oily. Right in here, work its way back. See I dented that in right there. I gotta pry that up before I can get that nut off of there. First I hammered a small screwdriver in there just to get started, and I made this modified screwdriver, a blunt tip on it. Got in there and hammered it in there and pushed that up. Now I'm going to take a 7/8, I don't know what the metric size is, but a 7/8 on or electric torque wrench. That nut is really on there tight. Okay, I put this block on there, wedged it, and man, I've yarped on that thing and I still can't get it to budge. Alright, this time I tried heating the nut up with the propane torch, or I got it a little more pinpointed onto the nut. You can see there's some kind of thread lock on there. Anyway, that's the contraption I used. Okay, I have to break out the puller. You can get one of those pullers. They work on a lot of stuff. I picked mine up at a second-hand store for 50 cents. Gotten a lot of use out of it. This thing's really stuck on there, so I tighten it down tight and then smack the end of this a few times, and I can turn it a few more times, and I'm just going to do that over and over until it pops off of there. Alright, smacking on the end of that thing. I'm tightening it. Finally came out. It's really stuck in there pretty good. Pretty sure it's an original seal, but we'll find out. You need to drill some holes in it. It's got metal. Drill some holes in it, put some screws in it, and pry it out with some vice grips. Alright, I drilled 4 holes in it. And I'm going to heat around the outside. Put some screws in it. Try getting it out of there, wedging it out with some vice grips. It's heating around the outside. Hoping to expand the cast iron just a little bit. See, I have the screws in there. Well, small screws pulled out, so I got some 1/4-inch ones that stuck in the holes that got enlarged when the screws came out. Alright, that didn't work. That one didn't work. Well, that seal's really in there. I got it all ripped to shreds. I'll just grip it with some vice grips. Start ripping it out and then get it out. Okay, I got it out. I put a vice grip on it and I smacked the vice grip, like right here, and on back here I smacked it with a hammer and it finally came out. This one here, you can see the washer is really wants to come out of there. The last one I did, the washer didn't come out. Just kind of stayed in there. The thickness of these washers makes a difference on how the teeth are set up. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to put it back to where it was. I got to wipe the inside of this, smear it with some grease. Put this back on. Not kind of tight before. Looks like it's going to be kind of tight again. Washer on. wanted to try to get that back. It looks like it kind of went a little too far. Then once you get it where you want it, you're going to knock that back down. Alright, I guess that'll do it. Like I say, in the manual, you're supposed to check the load and preload and all that stuff. But I don't use my four-wheel drive that much. I'm not too worried about it. Feels about the same tightness as it did before, so I'm just going to go with that. I think I got the nut back in the same spot where it was. So for the gasket, as near as I can measure, goofing around with it, is if I set this to 3 1/16, 6 1/8, it should be pretty close. Okay, I set the compass to a little bit under 3 1/16, so somewhere between 3 1/32 and 3 1/16.